We have a new highest earner here at Guernsey, Shotayo, the man of the moment, a player who has been in insane form. The fans, they've given him a scarf, they've decided they like him, and I think I like him too. Right now, he is up there with Forbes in the average ratings in the league. Scott Williams not far behind, and well, on the pitch we're doing great. In terms of the league table, we sit top. Today we take on Cinderford. We also have an away trip to Moneyfields, who have come from nowhere and now sit in fourth. If we get some good results today, we could pull even further clear at the top of the table. And well, hopefully, that's exactly what we're going to witness. Yes, folks, how is it going? Welcome back to Part 2 Prem. I hope you guys are doing amazing. As I've already mentioned, Shotayo has become the big man on campus, the head honcho, the top earner. I say that, he only gets paid £35 per an appearance, but in terms of wages, he is right up there. Gonna hope that those new wages aren't going to result in a load of other players in our first team also asking for wage rises. Now, given the fact we've started by talking about finances, let's talk about the club finances, where it's a little bit angry and it's a little bit red. We are currently £45,000 in the red. Now, in the period between January and now February, we have lost, what, £20,000? That is a lot of money to lose. But what I will say is that is very comparable to last year, where we went from 83,000 in January to 63,000. So it's really just a case of we didn't have as much money at the start of the season as last year, which is why we're still in the red. In terms of actual spend, we're not actually spending more than we were previously. That despite, of course, the fact the wage budget did go up this year. We have far fewer players actually being paid a wage. More of the backups, especially who aren't playing all that often, are on these pay-as-you-go deals. And whilst it's something we need to monitor, I'm not going to panic about it too much just yet. What it does mean, though, is that when it comes to board requests, I'm not getting any requests through. You can see here, improve youth recruitment, rejected. Training facilities, rejected. Not ideal, because there were a load of players I did promise improvements to the training grounds with. Can you remember these guys? Yeah, there's even more of them. The good news in the vast majority of cases is I have got a year and a half still to fulfill that promise. Now, you saw that my request to improve the youth facilities got rejected, but fret not, we still might have a good youth intake, maybe. Touch wood, touch wood. Yeah, look, we've got A's across the board for goalkeepers, centre-backs, centre-mids and wingers. As is always the case at this level, we can kind of take these previews with a bit of a grain of salt. If we get some incredible player, happy days. If we don't, I won't be surprised. Hamworthy United, the first game that we played since you were last here, a 1-1 draw here. One of the teams that is closest to us geographically. In this game, Vaughan got his first goal of the season. Sadly, it wasn't enough to get us the win in this game, but it's a goal worth acknowledging. It was an effort from range. He picked up the ball battling away, pulled the trigger, found the bottom corner. They did equalise though. So as good a goal as it was, it didn't really mean a great deal. After that game, we took on Slimbridge, a 2-2 draw here. Forbes was away on international duty, which is always a little bit annoying. And after that, Tiverton Town was our next opposition, where Forbes was back in the team to score. Sadly, his goal wasn't enough. It finished 1-1. You might notice here, I changed the formation as well. Do you ever have those moments in Football Manager where you have two meh results and you just think, I'm just going to change something for the sake of it? I did it. I immediately regretted it. And for the next game where we won 4-0, we did go back to the 4-4-2. That next game, a 4-0 win. A really good result, this one. A confident display. Shotayo and Forbes just linking up and doing the things they've done all year. As far as striking pairings go at this level, they've been top draw. They have the 2 highest ratings in the league for a reason. You can see here, just linking up with one another. Yeah, Shotayo with back-to-back assists. They did have a sending off in this game in the second half, Mangotsfield, that made it easier, as did the fact they gave away a penalty. Forbes got a third goal, and well, we've not a lot of time left in the second half. Dylan Crow to the byline, floated it in. Shotayo glancing header near post. Actually, a goal that looked quite good in the match engine. 2 further wins since then to make it 3 wins in a row coming into today. The first was against Tavistock, 3-2 win. Very nearly bottled it. We were 3-0 up. They scored 2. Squeaky bum time at the end, but we held on. And most recently, an away game to Bashley, a team who had been going very, very strongly in the league. They took the lead in this game in the 42nd minute. We replied a minute later, and suddenly, within, 10 minutes of the second half, Shotayo had made it 3 goals for us. He'd got a hat-trick. Forbes scored later on. Great team display. Also good to see Livingston getting a 9.1. Williams too on an 8.2, still unhappy at the club, still wants to leave, can't get him to sign a new deal. Hoping this is going to change sooner rather than later. Apparently we need to improve the squad significantly. So that is going to be the aim of the day. Just as a reminder, his contract is up at the end of next year. If I can't get him to sign a new contract come kind of July time, might just have to cash in on him whilst we can before we lose him on a free at the end of his contract a year later. All in all, though, we are in a good position. We are unbeaten since we last here, and despite the fact we have drawn 3 out of 6 games, it's been a weird period in the season where lots of teams have started to struggle. You can see Wimborne's form in their last 5 games contains only 2 wins. Elsewhere, Slimbridge have emerged from nowhere, as have Moneyfields. Moneyfields, the team that we're going to take on second today. I can't wait for a trip to Moneyfields Sports Ground. That is a very imaginatively named stadium. I know I talk a lot about our big pitch, but I tweeted out about this and I feel like I should mention it in a video. By the way, if you're not following me on Twitter, assuming Twitter is still alive when you're watching this video, who knows at the moment, it's at Work the Space. You should be following me there. We're nearly at 50,000 followers. Maybe with today's shout out, we could get a little bit closer. But yeah, minor issue with the big pitch. It's broken all the analytics. If I just highlight the home games here, the data analysts don't know how to map all the passes and stuff onto the bigger pitch, so instead, they all just kind of get cut off the edges. If you're wondering, this is where opposition players have been taking their shots from in the last 3 home games. Yeah, I'll be honest, the big pitch, as amusing as it is, it does actually have practical impracticalities. Does that make sense? Practical impracticalities. You'd think for someone that talks for a living I'd have a better grasp of the English language, but here we are. I've made it somehow. Don't let your dreams be dreams. Over the course of this season, I've not been doing a whole load of transfers. At these lower levels, constantly you can be improving the team and changing things around. I've not felt a massive need to do that, but there might be a new player coming in and a player leaving very, very soon. Ollie Thomas has been unhappy at the club for a while. I've given him a handful of appearances this year, 2 starts, 6 sub-appearances. He has done absolutely nothing for us, and he's been asking to leave the club. At the moment, we're looking to sell him on with a 50% sell-on clause of any profit. Because we're selling him for £0, it's basically 50% of any future sale. Whether or not he'll ever sell for money, I mean, it beats me. But he doesn't look like a terrible player. It could happen. And if he is going to leave, we will need a new backup striker. One who I've already got lined up is Brandon Goodship. He will join us to the end of the year as things stand. He's not exactly the most sexy footballer, the most impressive footballer. He's just very, very average at everything. Got 5 goals in the Vanarama National. Scored in League One once upon a time. This man has got footballing heritage in his career. And, well, yeah, I'm going to hope that if he joins us, he will be a better backup than Thomas has been. Now, at the end of last episode, I decided our next game was going to be here against Cinderford, a team who at the time were up in, I think, 2nd or 3rd. Now, they are down in 6th. You can see the past kind of position graph here. We've been towards the top now for an extended period. By comparison, they've dropped off. With that in mind, I'm going to hope that at home today, we can get a win. Talked about the fact that I have been changing things around a little bit tactically. Ultimately, I've gone back to the 4-4-2. You know what? It's simpler. It works. One thing I have changed, however, is our distribution. We are no longer distributing to the playmaker. We are distributing to the wider areas, especially on our big pitch. There's a lot of time and space in those wider areas of the pitch. I didn't feel like Ellis Vaughan was doing quite enough for us as that kind of centre playmaker in the 4-4-2, at least compared to last year's system, where I feel like the deep line playmaker in the 4-3-1-2 could have a little bit more freedom. And since we've gone to playing in the wings, I think it has benefited us, especially because we like to get the ball into the box. We like to cross it to Shotayo and Forbes, and it is one of our big strengths. Suppose that is reinforced as well by the idea that if we just look at the data analyst thing here, you can see we're very good at crossing, lots of crosses, accurate crosses, and when it comes to heading, we don't do a load of headers, but when we do a header, we win them. 66% of headers won this season. In terms of personnel for today's game, 1 player missing. Purcell out suspended. This man, he's been very naughty. 10 yellow cards this season, so he's been put in timeout. As a result of that, for today's game, Toby Down is going to come in. Of course, a player who joined us midway through last year as a bit of a squad player. Somebody actually played fairly often last year at left back. This year, he's been used very, very infrequently. A rare start for him. Still a player who's rather good at centre-back. Hopefully he's going to just slot in and do a job alongside Williams. Last time we took on Cinderford, we lost 2-1, so I've told the players going into this, let's go and get revenge. I'm going to hope that's what we can exact as the home team. They're struggling. In my heart of hearts, I feel like we should win this game, but if you've played Football Manager, You know how this game works. We probably won't win it now. Down with the ball, of course, thrown into the team, Toby Down, and well, maybe he'll be thrown out of the team, because that is an absolutely shocking free kick. Shotayo is quick. He's not that quick. Campbell picks up the ball for them. And, well, Shotayo is not going to back off. No surrender. Forces the keeper long. And Dylan Crowe wins the header. Forbes nods it down to Livingston, who's now going to try and pick out Shotayo. Almost an expert ball into the box. Nodded down by Livingston, who's won it well. He's going to pull the trigger from range. And Kai Livingston, it's his second goal of the season. I didn't know he had that in his locker. What was that? I mean, I know he's a Gibraltar international. But blimey. Where did this come from? I was about to get very annoyed with him for shooting from here. It's only his second of the season, as I mentioned. I mean, if he could do that a little bit more often, I'd be okay with him shooting from there. Corner on the far side. Get your binoculars out. Dylan Crowe's on the prowl. Whips it in. It was a floated cross. Headed away as far as Vaughan, who, of course, we've already seen. He can score from corners that are only half cleared. Lays it to Flanagan, who pulls the trigger. Keeper parries it. Shotayo's offside. It is a proper 4-4-2 versus 4-4-2 FA. You can see in terms of average positions, we have got them penned back in this game. Both their strikers dropping deep to help out defensively. But as a result, they've not got any kind of outball. When they do win the ball, there is no one in the final third to aim for. I realise by talking about all this, I'm potentially unleashing a jinx on myself. But let's ignore that because we're on the attack here. Waters doesn't have a right foot, or does have a right foot, doesn't have a left foot. There's his right foot. I forget that he's only right-footed because he does occasionally score on his left. And with it, we double our lead right before the break, and I feel like it's fairly deservedly so. Shotayo with the assist. Waters just goes on a wander, smashes it in. Not going to overcomplicate things. Very, very happy. Keep it going. Kick-off to start this second half. Campbell looking to go long. Williams, not the most convincing of defending. It's just hit him on the head. But you know what? We've got the ball. Let's remain calm here. If we get a third goal early in this second half, I might look to make some changes. Forbes with a chance maybe. What the... You know what? Didn't think he was going to shoot from there. When he did start to shoot from there, my heart sank. But he's found the bottom corner. That was mad. Vaughan from deep, playing as that playmaker, just unleashes a ridiculous pass. And then Forbes, one touch, second touch, just hits into the bottom corner. It's 3-0. I'm going to rotate things a little, I think. On the one hand, I want to change things. On the other hand, I look at all the average ratings and how well all the players are playing. You know what? I'm not changing anything. We could get a few more here. I want to enjoy my day at home. Despite the fact we are top of the league, there's not been that many games this season where we've run away with games emphatically and then just, absolutely crushed sides. We score a lot. We tend to concede a lot as well. And I feel like I've just talked into existence. But Mackenzie Lyle to the rescue. Massive save. Probably overkill, just going to shout words of encouragement, and now all the players are sad. Why did I shout encouragement? I am going to make a couple of changes here. Nolan at left back can have a rest. Ellis Johnson's going to come into the team. Williams is on a booking. I think we've just got to risk him. He's a player who I can trust to stay disciplined. I'm going to take off Shotayo. I'm going to bring in Fazakli. And you know what? Grooms, in you come. I do feel a bit bad for Grooms, who we've just subbed on. Obviously, quit university. This year he's just been a backup for us in the 8th tier of English football. Probably not worth giving up your education for. Although if he scores here, maybe he'll think otherwise. What was that highlight? I was expecting something to happen and then nothing happened. With 10 minutes left, I'd quite like to hold on to the clean sheet at this point. There's a temptation to go a bit defensive to try and make that happen. At the same time, given our finances, probably in our interest not to have to pay a clean sheet bonus. I say that as Fazakli takes down the ball, scores, and now we have to pay his goal bonus. Priest with the ball for them, gives it wide to Carpenter. Out on the far side, cutting inside from the left wing. He's going to play through Niven, one-on-one, and... well, I'm annoyed that we've given away a cheap goal. No clean sheet bonus to pay, I guess. That was very soft, wasn't it? It's not great goalkeeping. 3 minutes of added time here. Looks like this game's going to finish 4-1. Cinderford have struggled as of late, and truth be told, we look like we're in a different class to them here. Great display, lots of clinical finishing. Probably should acknowledge the fact that they did create a lot more in the second half, but it was too little too late. Unfortunately for us, both Larkhall and Wimborne won. Moneyfields, who were playing in our second game today, they got a point, so they're not a million miles away from us. That said, we play them in 2 games' time. The game prior to Moneyfields is against Clevedon, and no disrespect to Clevedon, they're down in 11th. It should be straightforward, and also, we play them at home, so it wouldn't involve a Jack Does an away day. And would it really be a Park to Prem episode without that? I don't think so. Tell you what, glad I didn't underestimate Clevedon. Massive club. drew 1-1. Great home result against them. They are a top draw team. I am, of course, just saying that to protect my own ego, although what I will say is, if we actually organise these games by date, they've been on a very good run of form, so actually maybe a draw isn't the worst result in the world against them. I do just want to acknowledge how close the league table is towards the bottom. It is ridiculously close, so much so that Hanworthy United, who are second from bottom, actually have a positive goal difference. That is quite some going. Bit of annoying news, by the way. Ollie Thomas didn't think he was going to be here for this second game. He is still here. He keeps rejecting all the offers that come in for him. We've had a few more, including from our friends over at Northwood, hoping he's going to be on his way. I do feel a bit bad, though, for Brandon Goodship, of course, the backup striker who I was going to bring in. I've delayed his offer twice because Ollie keeps turning down contracts. He might be the best player we've ever signed who doesn't actually ever sign for us. This next game, though, is a big one. Moneyfields are up in third. We're top right now, 4 points clear of Wimborne after the draw previously. Really need a win today. So Moneyfields is in Portsmouth, a lovely area of the world. Unfortunately, and I can't believe I'm saying this isn't planned, it looks like, at least on the satellite view, their pitch, or at least what was their pitch, is another building site. Is it another Lidl being built? Judging by Street View, it's new houses. I think we are in the right place here. Moneyfields Sports Centre. Are those the floodlights? Maybe. I can see grass. I guess that is the stadium? I don't know, though. So we were on the south side. I've now moved over to the edge. There's actually a train line here where we can see the bridge at the top. But if we just look to the left of the bridge, there's definitely a stand. Or at least what was a stand 12 years ago. I'm trying to see if I can get a better view. I don't think it exists. As part of my continued investigative work into whether or not it's a Lidl being built, I have discovered there's another angle to the north we can look at. And if we look beyond the lovely allotments that are going on here, where the stadium was, there is a digger. I think there's another Lidl being built. I will say, if there are any Portsmouth residents out there who are familiar with Moneyfields, I'd love to know what the story is. Are they playing matches there? Is there a stadium there that I couldn't find? I mean, as far as Jack Dozen away days go, I'm going to go with a 2 out of 10. Would have been a 1 if they'd been building a Lidl on it, but at least it's housing. As long as it's affordable, I think it's okay. I was about to end the Jack Dozen Away Days segment. I've just remembered something that I actually learnt via the YouTube comment section when we looked at Truro's ground. You can actually go back in time and look at the street view at different points. So we can, like, go back to 2017, if I'm not mistaken, and look at how it looked. Look at this. You know what? This is all gone now. I just feel sad. This looks lovely. They had an AstroTurf to the side. Oh, look at this is proper. I'm now very sad this is gone. You can even see the traditional non-league white fenced perimeter around what would have been the old pitch. You know what? If we'd been visiting this stadium as recently as 2017, I would have given it a great score just for the AstroTurf alone. But as it stands in the year 2022, I can't update my rating because it looks like this now. Moneyfields have not lost since before Christmas. They've been on a really, really good run of form as of late, most recently beating Poulton Rovers. With that in mind, away from home against them, I am a little nervous for this. Unfortunately for us, Waters picked up an injury during the week, so he is unavailable for selection, so Loring is going to come into the team and play on the left-hand side. I realised that in my haste earlier, discussing kind of tactical tweaks, one thing I didn't acknowledge is the fact that I am actually trying Vaughan now as a deep-lying playmaker. It's a bit of a defensive role, I suppose, but I think it's a role that allows them to stitch the play a little better together. Still early days. I guess the beauty with us being this far down the footballing pyramid is we can afford to just continually tinker. But yeah, deep line playmaker, centre mid on defend. There's not a lot of lateral movement in the centre of the pitch. But with, of course, our focus being to get the ball into the wide areas, I'm not even sure if that's necessarily, at least at this level, the biggest issue in the world. Now, despite Moneyfields' good form and the fact that we drew last game, we are actually ahead of them in the form chart. We are the informed team. They are third in the form chart. So when you look at our recent form, they should be as scared as us as we are of them. Hopefully Loring, who's getting thrown into the team at left mid, is going to be able to put in a good performance. A win here would put us ahead of them. I'm going to hope that Wimborne bottle it. Wherever they are, Wimborne, I hope they have a horrible day of football. Will admit, I am starting to get a bit of a personal hatred for Wimborne. I don't know if it's because their stadium's on a hill. Maybe it's because I just didn't get to see their ground. Either way, decided I don't like them. Early stages of this game not looking particularly good for us or for them, I suppose, really. A couple of shots to them. We've had a little bit more of the ball than I was expecting away from home, but ultimately we've not created nearly enough in this game as of yet. One thing I didn't mention actually is the fact that Williams is suspended today at centre-back. So Pasol's come back. Toby Down is staying in the team after last game, and well, Shotayo finds the score sheet. First shot of the game for us. Is that really our first shot? It is. You know what? Don't care. Don't give a Scooby-Doo. We take the lead against the run of play. Just the Forbes-Shotayo 1-2 combo. Forbes actually held up the ball really nicely there, and that pass through was ridiculous. The finish tasty as well. Not been a good start to this game for us, but we are in the lead somehow. Free kick in a wide area. Flanagan over it. Going to aim back post. Shotayo's there. Heads just over, but maybe with that goal that we've got, a bit of confidence flowing for us. I'm going to demand more from our players here to end the half. A second goal would be big. Moneyfields had a couple of chances early on. Besides that, not a lot happening in this game. Considering that we average 2-point-something goals a game. We are the only team in the league, I believe, that average over 2 goals a game. So far, Moneyfields might be kind of happy with their defensive performance. They have limited our opportunities. But as the home team, and knowing that they are in third, they are going to want to catch up on us. They're going to want to win this game. That task could be made more difficult if we can score here, and we can score here. It is Shotayo's 25th goal of the season. He didn't score any last year, and I forgive him for it, because this year he has been ridiculous. It is Forbes and Shotayo again. The 2 fan favourites in our team, the 2 players in that favoured personnel columns. I wonder if either of them will make it to an icon, will make it to a legend. If they keep performing like this, I think they've got a chance. 2 minutes left of extra time at the end of this half. Been a good display for us. Not the best, but with a 2-goal cushion and us limiting their opportunities, I'm just going to keep this simple. I'm very happy. Keep it going, lads. More of the same in the second. Livingston with the ball. Cutting in from the right-hand side, the winger. Finding a little bit of space inside today. Shotayo plays through Forbes, who hits it. And that was very simple. Just 2 defence-splitting passes. And 2 minutes into this second half, we've made it 3-0 again. Maybe we are good. Maybe I should just live commentate every game. We draw when I go off camera and take on mid-table teams. When we play all the good teams at the moment, away from home, we are just getting the work done. Forbes, first time finish, hammers it home. Going to make a couple of changes here. Bring in Grooms, bring in Shako. And whilst I'm making those changes, they've got a corner. Did I miss a chance? We'll never know. You can see why Shotayo and Forbes have the highest average ratings in the league. They're on a 9.5 and a 9.4 respectively. They are the dynamic duo, it feels like, for Guernsey Football Club right now. And, well, Shako, of course, the left midfielder who wanted a load of money on a pay-as-you-go contract, was at Yeovil a few years ago, has not really played any regular first-team football since then, for us or otherwise. And, well, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't be talking about our players. Maybe we should discuss whatever the hell that was. I love the fact he's gone to fetch the ball out the net, and the keeper's already got it out the back of the net. Poor folks. He doesn't know what's going on. Moneyfields have just scored an absolute screamer, and I've kind of played it down. This is a mad finish. Keeper dives as far as he can. He's never going to get there. I mean, it's 3-1. Great goal. I'll give it to them. Blackman now with a chance for them. He hits it. Free kick's deflected. Falls to Long. Did he just chest that and volley that? Can we discuss that? That was like he was playing a video game. I mean, ignore the fact I am literally playing a video game. This was like FIFA Street stuff. Chests it up 20 metres in the air, then just hits it on the volley on his left foot. Maybe 20 metres is an exaggeration. That was a silly, ridiculous goal. It's 3-2 now. We've had 5 goals from a combined XG of less than 2.5. Some people are going to hate what I'm doing here, but I am just going to tell the wing-backs to go more defensive. Livingston to go to support. I'm going to tell the players not to pass into space. We're going to lower the tempo, shorten the passing, time wasting. It's time to activate the dark arts. I just want us to kill off this next 15 minutes. No nonsense, no drama. Don't need any of that. Why are we doing this, Football Manager? Why are you here to hurt me? Along with the ball for them. Chalwell now in possession, plays it through to Philpott, who is hacked down by Toby Down. Down by name, well, he's taken him down by nature. It's 3-2. There's 10 minutes left and we're holding on. Now, the only silver lining here is I do still have a sub, so we're just going to take off Shotayo, who is on a hat-trick, but is also booked. I'm going to play Forbes on his own up front. Vaughan is just going to play as a deep line playmaker on defend. Shako, winger on support. I just want to see us see out this game now. Some people are going to hate me for it. I'm going to go on cautious mentality. Let's not overcommit men forward. Let's just see out this game 4 minutes. I'm just staring at the clock. I'm very nervous. This game was dead and buried at 3-0. We're going to hold on just about, but that was nowhere near as simple as it should have been. Moneyfields causing us all kinds of issues in that second half, but we hold on for a vital win. If I'm not mistaken, that red card there is the first red card we've had in our time at Guernsey in a year and a half. I don't think I've seen another one. Could be wrong, could be a terrible fact, but I'm going to stick my neck out on the line and say it's a fact. Elsewhere, I'd even spot this. Winborn lost 5-2 to Brigwater. Shout out to Brigwater, who are bottom of the league. They've just done us a massive favour. We're 7 points clear at the top with 12 games left. Forbes, by the way, goal and 2 assists. Give that man a coconut. He was absolutely sensational. So at the end of today's episode, we are still top of the league, and with 12 games left, we're in a really, really good position. Not entirely sure when we're going to be back next time. If it looks like winning the league is going to be a formality, I might even join you at the end of the season. Of course, if we get pulled into a playoff battle, we need to be aware of the games coming up. And whilst Larkhall in 4th, Winborn in 2nd, and Slimbridge in 5th are all games that we play towards the end of the season, this immediate run of games is full of a lot of winnable matches against teams in the middle of the table that we should do well against. I say all of that knowing full well these are the kind of games I've messed up this year. If you have enjoyed today's video, do make sure to drop a like on it. I'll see you guys tomorrow with more Park to Prem action, and until then, it is me, Jack, and I'll see you in a bit. I'm out.